All right, here we have a problem that says soybean meal is 18% protein, cornmeal is 9% protein. How many pounds of each should be mixed together in order to get a 360-pound mixture that is 11% protein? Now, these mixture problems can be a bit challenging, so let's first, as always, start by figuring out what is it we're looking for. The unknowns. Well, we want to know how many pounds of each, how many pounds of soybean, and how many pounds of cornmeal do we need to get a 360-pound mixture that is 11% protein. So it's the number of pounds of soybean and the number of pounds of cornmeal that we're looking for. So let's label them. Let X be the number of pounds of soybean meal, and let Y equal the number of pounds of cornmeal. So those are the things that we're looking for. And now we try to figure out, well, what do we know? We want to write an equation. In fact, two equations using X and Y. Well, one of the things we know is that when you add the number of pounds of soybean to the number of pounds of cornmeal, you're going to get a 360-pound mixture. So that's one equation, X plus Y is equal to 360. Now that one wasn't too bad. The next one's a little more complicated. It's the total mixture is going to be 11% protein. Well, what we do know is that when you take the protein in X pounds of soybean plus the protein in Y pounds of cornmeal, we have to get the protein that's in the 360-pound mixture. And so we can come up with those numbers by knowing that the soybean is 18% protein, so 0.18 for 18% times X, plus the cornmeal was 9% protein, so 0.09 times Y, and then the protein in the 360-pound mixture. Well, we want the 360-pound mixture to be 11% protein, so it's the percentage of protein times the weight, so that one's just a number. And therefore, we write that out, and we have two equations. The first equation, X plus Y equals 360, and the second equation from here. And we just multiplied 0.11 times 360 to come up with 39.6. So there's our system of equations. And to solve it, the first thing I'd like to do is get rid of those decimals. And we can get rid of the decimals by multiplying everything on both sides of this equation by 100, because multiplying by 100 would move the decimal 2 places in each case. Now I only need to move this one place to get rid of the decimal, but if I got to multiply this side by 100, I have to also multiply this side by 100. So doing that, we get X plus Y is equal to 360. I'm not going to change the first equation. Multiply everything on the left and right side of the second equation by 100, and we get 18x plus 9y is equal to, and multiply that times 100, and you get 3960. All right, so now we have two equations without the decimals, and we want to solve this. Now we could use either substitution or the elimination method. You could even use graphing, but I wouldn't recommend that. This time I'm going to solve by substitution, which means I'm going to solve one equation for x or y and plug that expression into the other equation. Well, this equation we can solve pretty quickly for y by subtracting x from both sides. So if I subtract x from both sides of this equation, we get y is equal to 360 minus x. Same equation, just rearranged. Now I've got an expression for y that I will plug into this equation. So this equation, when I replace y with 360 minus x, will look like this. 18x plus 9 times y. Well, 9 times y will become 9 times 360 minus x, and that's equal to 3960. All right, we're almost getting here. I want to clear the parentheses, so we get 18x plus, and 9 times 360 is 3240, And then 9 times the negative x is negative 9x. And that's equal to 3960. Well, we collect our like terms over here. We get 18x minus 9x, which is 9x. And at the same time, let's subtract 3240 from both sides to get all the numbers on the right. Well, 3960 minus 3240 comes to 720. So the equation right now then is 9x is equal to 720. We divide both sides of this equation by 9. We get x is equal to 720 divided by 9 would be 80. Now remember, what was x? X, recall, was the number of pounds of soybean meal. So we just found that we need 80 pounds of soybean meal. Okay, so pounds of soybean. Alright, well, we need to know the number of pounds of cornmeal. So we'll take this, which is actually one of our answers, and plug it back into the equation x plus y is equal to 360. Well, actually, better yet, we could even plug it into this because we've already solved this equation for y. But same difference basically. So we have x is equal to 80 plus y is equal to 360. So we'll just subtract 80 from both sides. Well, 360 minus 80 is 280. So this 280 is the number of pounds of cornmeal that we need. So here are the two answers.